everyone, Ryan Young, Combative Jiu-Jitsu, and I hope you're doing well. So today I wanted to answer a question, and this came from a repeat offender. His name is Ullish1989. I call him a repeat offender because I've answered one of his questions before, which means he has good questions. You want me to get to your questions? Ask me a good question. Okay, it's a little bit long, so let me kind of blow through this. Hi Ryan, I had a question regarding fight simulation training, Gracie Combative style. In my school, we start doing that style of training at blue belt, where one guy puts on gloves and tries to hit, and the other guy tries to clinch, take down control, etc. I'm a white belt, and yesterday my professor and I did 2 5-minute rounds where he had gloves on, and I realized what a massive difference it was. Achieving the clinch and doing a rear fall takedown. What's that? Would that be a break fall? A rear fall takedown or hip toss when you're being hit is difficult. Where you place your head makes all the difference if they're going to start doing elbows. When I asked the professor if we could do more of this, he says, just gotta get your blue belt because it's too unsafe with white belts. I'm not sure if I agree and think it leaves for some bad habits to develop. What are your thoughts, and when do your students start this type of training? So that's a good question. There's a video that I did about white belts and training, because white belts, because they're not quite experienced in what is happening to them as well as what to do, they tend to move in ways that can hurt themselves, especially if they're locked on. Somebody gets a lock on their arm or something and they don't just tap. They don't know to just tap because they don't know they're in trouble. And there might be another white belt who put that arm bar onto them, and you have 2 people who don't know how reactions work with regard to a dangerous position, and you end up having an accident. And one guy popping his arm out, and the other guy going, oh crap, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So what I usually do is I avoid having white belts roll where submissions are involved. When we get up to the middle of the ladder, as we call it, which is the middle of our curriculum, when you've gone through the entire defensive spectrum and you learn all the positions and you learn what the escapes are for each of the positions, then you're familiar with it when something happens to you. Now, everybody needs to run through the system in that way, in that if you're a blue belt, you know when you come across a white belt, you know, number one, he's not a blue belt, so he doesn't know what you know. But if you've come to class enough, you know that particular person maybe just started rolling, because last week when you came, he wasn't rolling. So then you'll know, okay, he doesn't know all that much, so I need to watch what I do with him. And you know, the blue belts don't hurt the white belts here, because the blue belts have all been through it. It's not like they came from another school and are not familiar with our system. They all ran through the system just the same, so they know that a white belt, what the white belt's going through, because they went through it themselves. Now, with regard to the sparring, your school does it a little different from ours. Our white belts will engage in that kind of stuff, where you know we won't necessarily go really hard with them. But we'll make sure that we have adequate training. You know, we do, especially in the summer. We do a lot in the summer. We do less of it during the non-summer months when we have the gi on. But that's not to say that we still don't do similar types of training. But yeah, we'll put gloves on and we'll spend a good portion of the self-defense portion just, you know, dealing with the punches, how to parry, how to duck, how to block, and how to go in for the clinch. And once the clinch comes in, then we work on takedowns with the head in the front, head in the back, you know, trips or hip throws, as well as how to land, how to position yourself once you land, how to block elbows that could be coming to your face, all that kind of stuff. I mean, we do all that with our white belts, because the thought is not, I don't teach you that kind of stuff when you get to blue belt. It's, we teach you that throughout, you know, and you're a blue belt, you're still gonna do it. Purple belt, you're still gonna do it. You know, black belts still do these same drills. The only difference is that the more you've done them, the more repeats or more repetitions you've had, the tighter you are at doing it. But that doesn't mean that just because you're white belt, I'm not gonna teach it to you. No, I need to teach it to you white belt as a white belt. In fact, once you get to blue belt, you're what we call street ready. Meaning if you were to get into a street confrontation, you'll be ready for it. Now, you know, when you get to purple belt, then you're what I call street proficient, meaning that you're pretty damn good at it. And that was the original standard that the GRACIE'S had. They may not have called it proficient and ready, but by the time you got to a blue belt, you could fight. It wasn't as if we teach you how to fight once you got to your blue belt. Ullish, 1989. Yes, we are a little bit different and from your school, but I think your school is different from what the original standard is, but that's based on your instructor, your professor's experience. And Really, if that's his system, that's his system. Everybody has their own way to run it, the way they think it's the best way to run it. We just try to keep it as close to what we originally learned as possible, because I'm not so arrogant to think that I can make the system better. Although we have kind of restructured the curriculum, but just kind of change the order around. But in the end, once you get from white to blue, you learn the same thing. But we don't hold that type of stuff, the combative stuff, back from the white belts because they're a white belt. We teach them how to do it. So hopefully that answered your question. For those of you who are watching this video and you found this particularly valuable, you might want to subscribe and like, or dislike, thumbs down, but still subscribe and hit the bell so that you can kind of get these going forward. See Rusty laughing behind, but he told me to tell you to hit the bell. You hear him laughing? All right. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Take care, guys. Happy training. Bye-bye now. You know that's going in there.
Yeah, it's totally gonna get in there now.